Men are so simple and so subject to present necessities that he who deceives will always find someone who will let himself be deceived. You step into a room and meet someone's gaze for the first time. In that instant, power shifts. The eyes betray the throne. The smallest flicker, the tightening of a jaw, the tilt of a head. These are the banners of intent, raised before a single word is spoken. If you fail to read them, you hand over your crown before the battle has even begun. History is filled with rulers who lost everything because they misread motives. Alliances that looked loyal concealed daggers. Smiles in court hid plots of exile. In politics, the inability to see the truth behind words was fatal. For you, the cost is not a sword in the back, but something just as destructive. Being manipulated, outmaneuvered, or reduced to a pawn in someone else's game. The enemy is not always loud. It wears charm, flattery, or indifference. If you do not learn to see through it quickly, you are already defeated. Look at the world around you. In office politics, a colleague praises your idea, yet secretly prepares to claim credit. In dating, the smile hides calculation. Are they here for you or for validation? In negotiations, the handshake is warm, but the eyes measure what they can extract. These cracks in armor reveal themselves within seconds. You must train to see them, because the battlefield does not wait for long analysis. The first impression, if read with precision, exposes the motive before the mask hardens. Think like a predator. A wolf that cannot read the prey's movements starves. A prey that cannot sense the predator's presence dies. Survival belongs to the one who sees faster, who interprets movement in the silence between breaths. Your instincts are ancient weapons. Sharpen them. Hold stillness as a blade. Do not rush to speak. Let the other reveal intent. Bexike, as they will. Your silence is pressure, and pressure exposes cracks. Carry this as a ritual. Scan eyes, posture, tone. Ask yourself, what do they want? Strip away the surface. Power lies in perceiving desire before it is spoken. Do not chase validation. Do not explain yourself. Simply observe and let clarity guide your response. Every throne is threatened not by force first, but by deception. Guard your throne with perception. Rule yourself so you can read others. And remember the mantra, see through masks before they harden. A ruler who cannot command himself cannot command others. Your mind is the throne, and if the throne shakes, the entire kingdom trembles. Before you attempt to read the motives of others, you must first learn to read and control your own. Focus is sovereignty. Without attention under your command, you are like a distracted monarch, surrounded by scheming advisors, each voice pulling you toward confusion. Machiavelli wrote that a prince must govern himself with discipline before he can govern a state. The same law applies to you. Attention is not free. Every notification, every wandering thought is a rival faction in your court. If you allow them to battle unchecked, you will misjudge the intentions of those around you. Consider the boss who enters a meeting distracted, scanning his phone while his team speaks. He believes he is in control, yet in that fog of divided attention, he misreads loyalty as resistance, and resistance as loyalty. The true betrayer smiles, while the distracted leader looks away, and by the time clarity returns, the crown has already been stolen. Your ability to perceive motives begins with ruling your own perception. Treat your focus like a fortress. Guard the gates with ritual. Do not permit every thought to march through your mind armed and unchallenged. Command presence in the same way a general commands soldiers, decisively, with order, with discipline. When someone speaks, give them full attention. When you observe fully, this is how you turn the throne of the mind into a stronghold rather than a collapsing seat of power. When disagreement arises, Do not allow emotion to seize the throne. Picture yourself in a conversation where a colleague challenges your plan. A weak ruler reacts with scattered anger, raising his voice, losing the loyalty of the room. A strong ruler remains calm, listening without haste, then answering with precision. By holding composure, you make the hidden motives surface. Anger blinds, stillness exposes. Think of your thoughts as advisors. Some are wise, some are deceptive. If the throne is shaky, you will trust the wrong counsel. A thought that tells you they admire you may blind you to envy. A thought whispering they oppose you may blind you to genuine loyalty. Rule the advisors. Test each one before granting it influence. Your kingdom begins within. Rule yourself or be ruled by chaos. The clarity you demand of others must first be demanded of your own mind. The crown is not given to the distracted. The throne belongs to the one who governs his focus. Remember the mantra, command yourself or be commanded. The battle field begins before words are spoken. The moment you step into a room, the opening clash has already started. Your eyes scan the opponent, their posture, their stillness, their gaze. These are not trivial details. They are banners raised on the field, declaring intent. Psychology shows that first impressions form within seconds, and micro-expressions, however small, reveal signals the tongue cannot yet shape. A slight lift of the brow, a downward glance, the stiffness in shoulders. Each is a soldier moving into position. You must learn to see them as early markers of hierarchy. Think of a job interview. The candidate who enters scanning the floor and fidgeting tells a story of uncertainty before a single question is asked. The one who enters steady, with shoulders aligned and eyes calm, claims silent authority. Or imagine a date, the laugh that lingers too long, the glance over your shoulder toward the room, the restless sip of a drink, all leak neediness or calculation. Within seconds, dominance, sincerity, or desperation begins to bleed through. The field is drawn, and you either seize command or surrender ground before the first exchange. This is why generals scan the enemy at dawn. Before the swords clash, before the drums roar, leaders read formation. A bent line signals weakness. An overextended wing signals arrogance. In 10 seconds, a skilled commander can see which side has already lost. You must approach human encounters with the same clarity. Observe like a strategist. Do not rush to speak. Do not overcompensate with noise. Silence and stillness give you vision. In practice, this means training your eye to pick up what others overlook. Study posture more than words. Gaze at the gaze. Ask yourself not, what are they saying? But, what is their body declaring? Words can deceive, but the body, under the pressure of first contact, struggles to obey the mask. If you control your own opening, measured steps, relaxed face, attentive eyes, you project command. If you let nervous energy command you, you enter the battlefield disarmed. When someone challenges you early, hold composure. A colleague in a meeting may interrupt with a dismissive tone. A weak response is quick defensiveness. A strong response is calm acknowledgement followed by precise redirection. Control the opening exchange, and you control the field. Every meeting, every introduction, every first glance is a dawn battlefield. You are the general scanning for advantage, and they are scanning you. See the truth in seconds, or lose the war before it begins. Win the first scan, and you win the ground. Power is not always shown in movement. It is revealed in stillness. When you hold silence, you force the other side to act. Psychology shows that people often overcompensate when confronted with a pause. They rush to fill the void, and in their rush, they leak the very motives they were trying to hide. The truth escapes not when someone is polished, but when they are pressured by the weight of silence. If you can master this, you carry an X-ray for shishuai, or motives that no mask can withstand. Consider a sales pitch. The seller speaks with practiced charm, listing benefits, painting pictures of success. If you respond too quickly, they keep control. But if you remain still, simply looking at them without reaction, the silence presses against their chest. They begin to speak more than they intended. Greed leaks in phrases like, "for me," or "what I gain." Fear leaks in backpedaling words like, "if you're not comfortable," or "maybe we adjust." Deception leaks when explanations grow longer, more tangled. Your silence becomes the weapon, and their own voice betrays them. This same principle applies in daily conversations. A colleague defends their choice aggressively, waiting for you to argue back. If you answer immediately, you enter their frame. If you remain calm and silent, their energy crashes against a wall. The discomfort expands, and they start revealing insecurities, justifications, and sometimes the true reason behind their behavior. You did not force them to attack. You forced them with patience. Think like a predator crouching in the tall grass. The wolf does not move until the prey reveals itself. The stillness unsettles. The prey twitches, panics, exposes its path. If you thrash too soon, you give away your position. If you hold still, the world delivers the information to you. In the realm of power, your silence is the crouch. Your stillness is the snare. Train yourself to resist the impulse to rush words into empty space. Count to 3 before responding. Let them stretch the rope of their own speech until it strains. When they look to you for validation, do not hand it over cheaply. Observe. Take note of every shift in tone, every glance away, every stumble. You are not passive. You are active in restraint, commanding the battlefield without striking. Stillness is not weakness. It is vision. Through silence, you see motives others miss. Through patience, you hold the throne and others surrender. Silence exposes what speech tries to hide. Machiavelli warned that rulers must look beyond words to the interests that drive them. People disguise intent with charm, with language, with polished masks. If you want to see motives in 10 seconds, you must strip these masks away with ruthless elimination. Do not become distracted by pleasantries. Cut through them and ask the only question that matters. What do they want? Every encounter comes layered with distractions. Smiles, compliments, and politeness serve as smoke on the battlefield. A colleague might praise your work in public while lobbying for your position in private. If you focus on the praise, you misread the move. If you focus on the incentive, you see clearly. In the world of power, people act not according to their words, but according to their interests. Ruthless elimination is the discipline of ignoring the surface and following the trail of outcomes. Ask yourself, if all masks were dropped, where does their action lead? That is the motive. This same principle applies in small interactions. Consider the coworker who repeatedly offers to help on your project. Weak. You assume generosity. Strong. You ask what benefit they stand to gain. Perhaps they seek visibility or access to your connections, or the chance to undermine you later. By stripping away their smiles and examining incentives, you protect yourself from being blindsided. This is not cynicism. It is clear. Masks are common. Interests are constant. Think of the chessboard. Pawns fill the field, distracting the eye. But the queen's movement decides the game. When you remove unnecessary noise, you can see the queen's trajectory. In human behavior, the queen is the underlying desire: status, security, resources, or recognition. The pawns are words, gestures, and rituals. If you watch only the pawns, you lose the match. Train yourself to look through the pieces toward the hidden axis of play. When challenged, remain composed. Imagine a team meeting where someone publicly questions your idea while smiling. A weak ruler reacts defensively, tangled in their words. A strong ruler listens calmly, then redirects with a clear focus on outcomes. Our goal is efficiency. Which path gets us there faster? By returning to the real incentive, you cut through the mask and bring the conversation back under your command. Ruthless elimination is not cruelty. It is discipline. Do not drown in the surface of behavior. Slice through it. Study the interest. Trace the outcome. Guard your throne by refusing to be fooled by masks. Ignore the smile. See the motive. Authority is not declared. It is embodied. You can see it in the way someone enters a room, in how they hold stillness, in the control of their voice. Military leaders have long understood that command is projected through posture and composure more than through shouting. A calm presence steadies troops, while a frantic voice reveals doubt. The same rule applies in every interaction of your life. If you want to read motives, watch how someone carries the mask of command. Does it fit them naturally, or does it slip the moment pressure is applied? Look closely at posture, shoulders that are aligned, movements measured, and gestures deliberate. Signal inner stability. Volume can be faked, but posture is harder to mask. A calm tone of voice anchors authority far more than raised decibels. Loudness without weight is the roar of a hollow drum. Composure with quietness is the mark of a true commander. The mask of command is revealed not by what people claim, but by how they hold themselves under observation. Modern life provides constant examples. Scroll through social media, and you will see the difference between those who project authority and those who beg for it. The influencer who speaks with calm clarity, unhurried and unapologetic, carries a presence. The desperate imitator, flooding every sentence with exaggerated energy, exposes need. Their body language leaks who holds real power and who merely wants it. Authority cannot be manufactured overnight. It emerges when confidence is rooted in discipline rather than noise. Imagine the throne itself. Some sit upon it as if born to its weight. Their back remains straight, their gaze steady. Others tremble under the crown, shifting in discomfort, revealing that the authority they wear is costume, not command. Your task in the first 10 seconds is to discern the difference. Do not be fooled by decoration. Look for steadiness. Look for composure. These traits expose whether the throne is theirs or borrowed for show. When challenged, authority is tested. Picture a meeting where someone interrupts you with arrogance. A weak ruler reacts with raised volume, trying to seize control through force. A strong ruler pauses, holds eye contact, and answers slowly, redirecting the room with calm precision. Authority is reinforced not by panic, but by control. Weak. Wait, let me finish. Strong. I'll finish my point, then we can address yours. The difference is the mask that commands, rather than pleads. Carry this into every encounter. When you meet someone, study how they project authority. Do they stand steady, or do they wobble under the invisible crown? Do they command the space, or do they scramble to be noticed? The mask always reveals itself in seconds. Authority is not spoken into existence. It is worn, and the weight either steadies or breaks the bearer. Command is calm, not noise. Naivete is the blindfold that keeps you from seeing motives. If you want to read intent in seconds, you must kill the part of yourself that craves comforting illusions. Psychology calls it confirmation bias. You prefer evidence that confirms what you already hope to believe. When someone's words align with your desires, you ignore the cracks. This is how manipulation works. People give you the phrases you want to hear, and you mistake it for truth. You must send into your own mind is trained to strike down this bias before it betrays you. Think of how often people excuse red flags simply because they want a story to be true. In dating, you overlook the lie in someone's tone because you enjoy their attention. In friendship, you excuse patterns of selfishness because you value the history you share. In work, you dismiss ambition in a colleague's flattery because it feels good to be praised. The naive part of you whispers, "They seem nice," and you let the warning signals pass. But sincerity is not in words. Sincerity is in consistent actions over time. When you rely on feelings alone, you step into the battlefield disarmed. Your inner assassin must be ruthless. Its blade is the question. What evidence supports this beyond my wish to believe it? Every time you feel the pull of flattery, let the assassin strike. Every time you want to justify suspicious behavior, let the assassin cut through. This does not mean paranoia. It means discipline. You are not asked to doubt everyone endlessly, only to eliminate blind trust that ignores reality. Picture a disagreement at work. A peer tells you, "I only want what's best for the team," while pushing their own agenda. A weak ruler takes the words at face value. A strong ruler listens, then calmly responds, "If that is true, show me how this improves the outcome for everyone." By doing this, you refuse to surrender to the mask of language. You test the claim against evidence. Calm leadership exposes hidden motives more effectively than suspicion or aggression. The assassin metaphor is simple. If you do not eliminate naivete, it will eliminate you. A predator that believes every rustle in the forest is harmless does not live long. A ruler who believes every word spoken in court will one day lose the throne. The assassin does not kill trust. It kills the weakness of blind belief. Once naivete is gone, trust becomes earned rather than assumed. You must train yourself to prefer clarity over comfort. Do not ask, "What do I want to hear?" Ask, "What is being shown?" Hold yourself to this standard every time someone speaks. Protect your throne with skepticism, disciplined by calm observation. Kill naivete before it kills you. Inside you lives an ancient wolf. It is older than language, faster than logic, and built for survival. This wolf is instinct, the subconscious mind that processes patterns long before reason can explain them. Neuroscience shows that gut decisions often emerge from unconscious recognition. Your brain collects thousands of cues, tone, posture, timing, and compresses them into a feeling before you are even aware of it. That feeling is not magic. It is the wolf, sharpened by experience, signaling where danger or opportunity hides. To read motives in 10 seconds, you must learn to feed this wolf instead of starving it. Starvation happens when you dismiss instinct as irrational. You feel unease in a conversation, but you silence it because the words sound pleasant. You sense neediness in someone's approach, but you ignore it because you want the story to be different. Each time you push away instinct, the wolf grows weaker. But when you acknowledge it, test it, and refine it with observation, you sharpen your edge. Think of a job recruiter. Within seconds of an interview starting, they often sense desperation. The candidate's tone strains, their posture leans too far forward, their laugh lingers just a little too long. On paper, the resume may shine, but instinct tells the recruiter the candidate is not steady under pressure. That impression is not formed by one detail, but by a flood of subtle cues, compressed instantly into a judgment. Logic later tries to explain what instinct already knew. You must use this same ability in your daily encounters. The wolf metaphor captures it clearly. A wolf that hesitates, second-guessing every movement, starves. Prey escapes because instinct was ignored. A wolf that trusts its senses, moves with precision, and survives. You are no different. If you hesitate, waiting for perfect logic before acting, you will miss the truth already in front of you. If you trust sharpened instinct, you see motives before the mask settles. This does not mean blind faith in every feeling. The wolf must be trained. Feed it with exposure. Reflect on times your instinct was right, and study the signals you overlooked when it was wrong. Keep a mental log. Over time, the unconscious sharpens accuracy. The goal is not paranoia, but readiness. You are not commanded by instinct. You command it as a weapon. In disagreement, instinct guides you to see what words conceal. If someone argues aggressively yet avoids eye contact, your gut tells you insecurity hides behind volume. Calm, lull. Eatership means you recognize this signal and respond with steady control, not escalation. By trusting the wolf, you avoid being pulled into their frame. The throne belongs to the one who listens to instinct without being ruled by it. Train it, feed it, sharpen it, and let it guide your first scan. Trust the wolf inside. Life is a chessboard, and every piece moves with intent. Words are often smoked, but position tells the truth. If you want to read motives in 10 seconds, study not what is said, but what is done. History proves this principle. Rulers did not trust promises. They trusted balance. Alliances were made not from loyalty, but from necessity. When kingdoms aligned, it was because the weight of power demanded it, not because honeyed speeches swore eternal friendship. If you only listened to words, you were conquered. If you studied positions, you saw the strategy before it unfolded. The same law governs your daily life. In corporate politics, motives hide behind courtesy. A colleague may offer friendly advice while quietly maneuvering for your position. If you listen to the tone alone, you miss the checkmate forming. But if you study action, you notice how they redirect praise, build private alliances, or withhold key information. Their moves on the board, not their words, reveal their intent. The battlefield of the office is not won by trusting every smile. It is won by recognizing that every move is self-interested. Think of how pawns advance. They do not chatter or boast. They move step by step, building tension until a line opens for the queen. Human behavior is no different. Pawns are the small gestures, the subtle alignments, the minor requests. Alone, they may seem harmless, but watch them in sequence and you see the strategy behind them. A favor asked here, a connection leveraged there, until suddenly the real attack is positioned. If you wait until the queen strikes, it is too late. You must train yourself to see the early moves for what they are. When someone challenges you in discussion, resist the temptation to argue words alone. Imagine a meeting where a peer insists they support your plan, while quietly steering resources away from you. Weak. You defend yourself against their speech. Strong. You call attention to their position. If you support this plan, why are resources moving elsewhere? With calm precision, you cut through words and expose moves. This is how you protect your place on the board. The throne belongs to the one who studies structure, not speech. The powerful rarely declare their strategy aloud. They let the board speak. Your task is to read the board quickly, to see where alliances point, where pressure builds, and where betrayal hides. Look at actions, incentives, and alignments. Disregard noise. In 10 seconds, you can often see the truth if you focus on moves rather than promises. Watch the board, not the words. Perception sharpens through ritual. You cannot expect to read motives in 10 seconds without training. just as a soldier cannot assemble a weapon in the dark without practice. Science shows that deliberate repetition rewires the brain, speeding recognition of patterns until response becomes instinct. The cues others miss, hesitations, changes in tone, restless gestures, become visible to you because you have conditioned your mind to notice them automatically. What begins as effort becomes reflex. You must treat this as a discipline. Soldiers drill until movement is carved into muscle. You must drill observation until clarity is carved into perception. Start with simple exercises. Journal what you see. After each interaction, write what was said, how it was said, and how the body spoke differently from the words. Over time, you build a private archive of tells. This catalog becomes your battlefield intelligence. When you face a new encounter, your brain compares it to hundreds of logged examples, giving you rapid, instinctive clarity. The world trains you constantly if you choose to record and reflect. Think of the habits that sharpen presence. Enter a room and pause before speaking. Scan the field silently, cataloging posture, tone, and hierarchy. Do not rush. The ritual of stillness is not wasted time. It is weapon training. Each repetition makes your perception faster, your judgment sharper. Condition yourself to treat every encounter as practice. You are building reflexes that one day will protect your throne in the moments that matter most. The imagery is simple. Soldiers are blindfolded and tasked to assemble weapons by touch alone. At first, they fumble. With repetition, they succeed even under pressure, even when chaos surrounds them. You must blindfold yourself from the distraction of words and assemble truth through the fragments of nonverbal cues. Practice until your perception functions in silence, under pressure, without hesitation. That is the iron ritual. In disagreement, trained perception separates leaders from pawns. Imagine a heated debate where someone insists on their authority. A weak ruler reacts emotionally. A strong ruler observes details, the clenched fists, the strained tone, the avoidance of direct eye contact. These signals expose insecurity. Calmly, you respond not to their words, but to their weakness, anchoring the room with steady control. By conditioning perception, you hold command without raising your voice. Your will must be iron, your practice relentless. Do not leave perception to chance. Drill it daily. Journal. Reflect. Observe. The throne is protected by eyes that see faster than deception can move. Ritual makes clarity instinctive. Discipline makes perception a weapon. Train until truth becomes reflex. Power reaches its peak when you can see motives without exposing your own. History shows that the statesman who survived was the one who revealed nothing, yet observed everything. Spies thrived because they masked their intentions, while gathering every fragment of another's. They spoke little, disclosed less, and lived longer than the loud and careless. The lesson is simple. To become untouchable, you must make yourself unreadable, while sharpening your ability to read others instantly. Modern life is full of the same dynamics. Think of a poker table. The skilled player scans every twitch, every glance, every pause in speech, while keeping their own face a wall. The novice sees fidgets, shows excitement in the eyes, leaks panic in the hands. The professional masks emotion, gathering clues from the table without surrendering their own. This is the essence of untouchable presence. You see clearly, but they see only a shadow. The predator metaphor captures it best. The owl sees everything in the dark. Its eyes pierce the night, but its wings make no sound. The prey is unaware of the gaze fixed upon it. You must embody this principle. Watch without announcing. Record without signaling. Let others reveal themselves in the light while you remain cloaked. Silence, patience, and neutrality make you invisible, yet all-seeing. In conflict, this becomes decisive. Imagine a debate where someone presses you for your stance. A weak ruler blurts a reaction, exposing insecurity. A strong ruler pauses, offers measured words that commit to nothing, and quietly observes the overextension of the opponent. Weak: here's exactly what I think. Strong: I'm considering the options. Tell me more about yours. The first gives ground by exposing the map. The second gathers intelligence without revealing position. To become untouchable, discipline your body and words. Hold eye contact without excess. Speak less than you know. Show less than you feel. Learn to delay reactions, because reaction is revelation. The throne belongs to the one who reads the room while remaining unreadable. In 10 seconds, you can know more about others than they know about you. If you resist the temptation to display, the crown is not secured by exposure, but by concealment, paired with vision. See without being seen, and you become impossible to outmaneuver. Be the watcher no mask can reach. The empire is built in seconds. 10 seconds is enough to see motives, enough to seize advantage, enough to secure the crown. Every principle you have studied converges here. The throne of the mind must be commanded first. Without inner sovereignty, perception is clouded. The battlefield of first impressions must be scanned with clarity. Stillness must be weaponized to make others reveal themselves. Naivete must be killed. The wolf of instinct must be fed. The chessboard must be read, and authority must be judged through the mask of command. When these elements fuse, you become something rare, a ruler who sees motives in the silence before others even know they have spoken. Science confirms the process. Your brain records thousands of microsignals in every encounter. Deliberate training conditions allow you to interpret them with speed. Modern life provides endless practice. In a job interview, a date, a negotiation, or a leadership meeting, you are bombarded with signals. Most people drown in words. You must rise above words and study patterns. If a candidate speaks smoothly but lacks nervous gestures, instinct tells you desperation hides under polish. If a colleague praises you, yet redirects credit, the position reveals sabotage. If a partner professes loyalty but avoids commitment, stillness uncovers hesitation. The art is not complicated. It is discipline. You ask, what do their actions, posture, and tone reveal when stripped of decoration? That question is the blade that cuts through illusion. Picture a negotiation table. The air is heavy. On one side, a rival leans forward, flooding the space with words. On the other, you sit steady, eyes calm, silence intact. 10 seconds pass. You already know the truth. Their eagerness exposes need. Their over-explaining reveals insecurity. You respond with measured words, revealing nothing of your own position. The room tilts in your favor without a single raised voice. Or imagine a love confession. In seconds, the eyes tell whether it is genuine or driven by fear of loss. You do not cling to words. You study motive. That clarity determines whether you bind yourself to strength or to weakness. The metaphor of the crown makes this clear. Many wear crowns, but few carry them with steadiness. The true ruler is not loud. The true ruler does not beg to be seen. The true ruler perceives every mask in the court while keeping his own impenetrable. He scans the battlefield, notes the positions, feels the instincts sharpened by practice, and eliminates deception with calm precision. The predator's crown is not gold. It is vision. The eyes that read motives in seconds hold more power than the hands that swing swords. In moments of disagreement, this mastery is decisive. Suppose a rival interrupts you with arrogance. Weak. You're wrong. Let me explain. Strong. I'll let you finish. Then I'll add my perspective. The first response defends. The second command. By refusing to reveal insecurity, you remain untouchable while observing theirs. Calm discipline turns conflict into revelation. You learn more in their aggression than they learn in your restraint. Becoming untouchable is the convergence of all lessons. You control your inner throne. You scan the battlefield before words are spoken. You kill the urge to believe too quickly. You trust the wolf of instinct, sharpened by practice. You read the board like a strategist, not a spectator. You measure authority by steadiness, not volume. And you conceal your own motives while exposing theirs. This fusion is the predator's crown. 10 seconds is all you need, because 10 seconds is enough to see what others refuse to see. Do not waste this skill on vanity. Use it to protect your throne, to choose alliances wisely, to avoid traps that have ruined countless rulers and leaders. Power is not in manipulation. Power is in clarity. The ability to see through illusion is what makes you unbreakable. Others play loudly, showing their moves. You play silently, seeing through every mask without revealing your own. The crown does not belong to the one who speaks the most or moves the fastest. It belongs to the one who perceives first. Remember this final command. Rule by vision, not by noise. The battlefield of life does not forgive blindness. Pawns who fail to read motives are the first sacrificed. They walk into traps smiling, believing words, and ignoring the signals that screamed caution. You have seen it in offices where the unsuspecting worker trusted false allies, only to be undercut at the next promotion. You have seen it in relationships, PS, where charm hid betrayal and trust was given freely without testing intent. Blindness is costly. The one who drifts without perception becomes a piece moved by others instead of a player commanding the board. History has always rewarded clarity. Rulers who survived were not those who heard the most promises, but those who saw the motives driving them. They studied incentives, not speeches. They weighed positions, not flattery. By seeing what others could not, they secured the throne and lived untouchable. Survival was never guaranteed by force alone. It was secured by perception sharpened into instinct. The difference between the fallen and the untouchable has always been the ability to look past masks and read the truth hidden underneath. You now understand the discipline. Control your own mind, so you are not deceived by your desires. Scan the field in the first moments of contact. Use stillness to make others expose themselves. Cut through masks with ruthless elimination. Kill naivete before it kills you. Trust the wolf of instinct, trained by practice. Study the chessboard, not the chatter. Condition perception like a soldier sharpening weapons. And above all, conceal your own motives while exposing theirs. This fusion makes you unbreakable. The call to action is clear. Do not walk blindly in a world filled with hidden intentions. Sharpen your sight, claim the throne of clarity, and live untouchable. Remember the final mantra that seals this path. See in silence. Decide in seconds. Rule without asking.